My name is Sarah. And this is the story of how I thought I had found a dream. But instead, I stepped into a golden cage built with secrets, manipulation, and betrayal. I was 27 when I met him. Back then, I was working at a modest art gallery in downtown Chicago. The kind of place that smelled of paint and dust, with echoing footsteps and long silences interrupted only by the occasional tourist or collector wandering in by mistake. I wasn't looking for love. I had just gotten out of a 3-year relationship that drained me emotionally and left me questioning my self-worth. I had promised myself I would focus on work, on healing. Love could wait. But then, he walked in. Philip Carver. The name itself probably tells you something. If you're from Chicago, you've likely seen his name on buildings, newspapers, maybe even hospital wings. Billionaire. Real estate magnate. Older, tall, commanding presence. Salt and pepper hair, tailored suit, eyes that looked like they could read your soul and write your future. He didn't walk, he glided. Like someone who'd been born into power and learned to wear it like a second skin. And he looked straight at me. "Is this your gallery?" he asked. His voice, deep, smooth, rehearsed yet effortless, startled me. "Oh, I work here," I replied. He smiled. "Good. Then you'll help me find something special. Something intense." I remember laughing nervously, not realizing he meant more than just the art. Over the next hour, he asked questions, not just about paintings, but about me. What I liked. What I hated. Why I worked in a place like this. He listened as if I were the most fascinating canvas in the room. And when he left, he didn't buy a painting. He handed me his card instead. That night, I Googled him. Everything about him screamed danger. Not the violent kind. No, the seductive kind. The kind you don't see until it's too late. But I was flattered. Curious. Drawn in. He called the next morning. And I picked up. That was my first mistake. The next few weeks were like a movie montage. Helicopter rides. Rooftop dinners. Lavish gifts, a bracelet I couldn't pronounce the brand of, shoes I would have never dared try on, let alone own. Philip was attentive, charming, and generous. But more than that, he made me feel seen. As if I mattered in a way I hadn't felt in years. I knew he was older. At 45, he was nearly twice my age. But when you're falling, numbers don't feel real. Just moments. He never spoke about past relationships. If I asked, he would change the subject or smile and say, "You're the only woman I see now." And I wanted to believe him. 2 months later, he proposed. No warning. No preamble. Just a private dinner on a yacht, a ring box that sparkled brighter than any star that night, and those 3 words, "Marry me, Sarah." I said yes. Everyone said I was crazy. That it was too fast. That I didn't know him. And they were right. I didn't. But by the time I realized it, it was already too late. I couldn't sleep that night. Not because of guilt, but because of confusion. Diana was unlike any woman I had ever met. She was radiant, soft-spoken, dangerously intelligent, and yet vulnerable. I was a billionaire who had everything. But for the first time, I felt like I had something to lose. In the morning, I watched her from the terrace as she sipped coffee by the pool. She looked peaceful. But I knew her calm was a mask, just like mine. We never talked about that night. Days turned into weeks. And instead of dying out, our secret affair only grew stronger. But here's the thing about secrets. They rot. And ours began to smell. One evening, I came home to find my wife, Vanessa, waiting in my office. She never went there. She hated the smell of cigars and oak. She was holding something in her hand, a bracelet. The same one I had bought for Diana's birthday. Engraved. Personalized. Stupid. Her eyes were calm, too calm. Whose is this? She asked quietly. I lied. I bought it for you. It was supposed to be a surprise. She smiled that tight smile women give when they already know the truth. Then she left the room without another word. That's when I knew I was being watched. Security cameras. Credit card records. Maybe even my phone. But I couldn't stop. I didn't want to. Being with Diana felt like being alive. And the worst part? She knew how to use that power. One afternoon, she looked at me and whispered, "She's going to leave you. And when she does, I'll be waiting." It was then I realized, Diana didn't just want me. She wanted everything I had. And she was playing a long game. But I thought I was the one in control. I was wrong. Diana wasn't just a woman scorned. She was a strategist. Patient. Cold. Brilliant. And I had underestimated her from the start. After that subtle threat, "I'll be waiting," I began to see everything differently. She started showing up at events Vanessa and I attended. Charity galas. Art auctions. She'd appear in a red dress, always red, like a warning sign I chose to ignore. And every time our eyes met across the room, she smiled. She was telling me, "I'm not done with you." Meanwhile, Vanessa had changed. She was distant. Silent. But not stupid. I caught her once, on the phone with her lawyer. She didn't even flinch when I walked in. Just looked me straight in the eye and kept talking. I could feel the walls closing in. One night, Diana texted me, "I'm pregnant." My heart stopped. I called her immediately. She didn't answer. Just a follow-up message, "Don't worry. I won't tell her. As long as you do what I say." I knew what this was. Blackmail. I agreed to meet her. Quietly. Discreetly. A hotel suite she'd rented under a fake name. She looked radiant, even dangerous. Like someone who had just declared war and was enjoying every minute of it. "You wanted me," she said, leaning close. "Now you'll have me, and everything that comes with it." I asked for a paternity test. She laughed. "You think I'd lie about something like this? You think I need your money that badly?" I didn't answer. I just left. But I knew, from that moment, I had two options. Protect my empire. Or protect my pride. I chose the empire. I hired a private investigator. A good one. Within a week, he returned with shocking news. Diana had a history. Of manipulation. Of targeting powerful men. And not just me. There were others. 2 former CEOs, a retired senator. All had been forced to settle quietly. Some lost fortunes. One lost his marriage. And now, I was next. But not if I could help it. So I played along. I called her. Told her I wanted to be with her. That I was willing to leave Vanessa, but I needed time. She took the bait. What she didn't know was that I had already started building a legal case against her. Quietly freezing assets. Securing my estate. Preparing for a fight. But then something unexpected happened. Vanessa confronted Diana. In person. Without telling me. And everything spiraled out of control. I found out about it too late. Vanessa had driven to meet Diana alone. No driver, no security, no warning. She just showed up at her apartment. My wife confronting my former mistress. I don't know exactly what was said between them, but by the time I arrived, the damage had been done. Diana looked shaken. Vanessa looked free. Cold. Detached. When she got into the car with me, she said only one thing. She told me everything. I believe her. I tried to speak, to explain, deny, anything, but Vanessa raised her hand. Don't insult me with lies. And that was it. 20 years of marriage, gone in a single night. But it got worse. The very next morning, my face was on every tabloid, every finance blog, even international media. Billionaire's secret affair, and love child scandal. Vanessa Woodward leaves husband after explosive betrayal. Who is Diana Reyes? Photos of Diana and me, blurry, stolen, but real, were everywhere. My stock dropped 11% in 3 hours. My company was in free fall. And then came the worst message of all. From my daughter. Dad, is it true? I couldn't even answer. I had no words. Everything I had built, my reputation, my legacy, my family, was crumbling. And Diana? She vanished. She didn't try to claim anything. No lawsuit. No interviews. Just gone. Which only made me more paranoid. I hired 2 more investigators. They tracked her to Lisbon, then to Marrakesh. But by the time they got there, she had disappeared again. It felt like she was playing a game I didn't know the rules to. Meanwhile, Vanessa filed for divorce. Clean. Swift. Ruthless. She took our house in Connecticut, half the company shares, and most of my political connections. Every ally I had in my corner turned their backs. And the board? They asked me to step down as CEO. I was spiraling. Until one day, I received an envelope. No name. No return address. Just a single photograph. Diana. Holding a baby. She looked directly into the camera. No smile. Just calm. And on the back of the photo, in handwriting I recognized immediately, were just 3 words: you still lost. I don't know if the child is mine. I haven't done a test. I haven't tried to reach her. Because I can't face the answer. I thought I could have it all, the thrill, the secrecy, the power. But in the end, I lost everything. And sometimes I still hear her voice. Be careful who you use. Some women don't forget. Some women get even. To the viewers, what do you think? Did Diana truly love him, or was it revenge all along? Let me know in the comments.